found. When the sunrise smiles on everything around, it's a portrait of the happiness that we feel and always will. Oh, it is enough to build our lives with love.
It is enough.
Yes. Good day, good evening.
I love that song. It is enough to fill our lives with love.
Actually, I think the real song should be it doesn't even seem to be enough to fill our lives with love. Or fill someone's life with love. So they're trying for 9 or 10. Last the 8th way now and CP people time. There is a delay. So we started at 1:30 on time, but apparently y'all got into 5-minute delay. Hopefully that diminishes.
Oh,
Hopefully
shit.
that diminishes when we get as we are fully into our live programming. We have to convince. Good day, all. Good day, good night, good afternoon, good morning, or good Monday for some of you who live in Melbourne, Australia.
Woohoo!
The Australian Open is over. And before I go any further, let me introduce my two co-hostesses with the mostesses. Tony said those are lies. Tony, you don't know how my system is set up, so don't tell me I'm lying. So, you're not my tech guy.
Tony's basically saying, I don't understand how you were 5 minutes late and also how Novak healed himself within the match.
Do the introductions.
There is time continuum space, that algorithm that we do not understand. But before I go any further, let me introduce my co-hostesses and the mostesses, because I see Debs got a lot to say, and so we have to get to these people, folks. We have Andreen from Solely Tennis Travel. How are you, girl?
I'm good. I see it's like 5:36 in the morning in Australia time. Whew, man.
On Monday. And you know what? Last week, we were so hot in our feelings about the Melbourne report. We forget that you were working with the ATP and you were doing a tour of Italy to see whether or not the lay of the land, how we going to put the how the World Tour final is going to set up over there. And just so you know, Janine and I are convinced Andre works with the CIA or she works with the ATP. She goes before the tour.
That sounds about
Wherever
right.
she goes, the tour is going there. So she goes logistics.
Following her ass.
It was lovely. I spent a lovely 6 days, 7 nights, or whatever it is. 6 days, 7 nights, or the reverse of that. In Italy, touring Italy.
7 nights and six nights and 7 days, Andreen.
Yes, that's how it worked out.
She wasn't counting days. She was just enjoying herself.
Yeah, Italy. I mean, listen, we won't be mad at the food.
I know.
That's about
the bureaucracy, though. That's the problem, but not the food. I swear, food is safe in Italy. The day there's a food shortage, Italy is done.
I know, unless there's some dodgy stuff happening in the meat, but that we all know that only happens in other countries. So,
yeah, be careful, Colombia.
In Italy, it happens in the pasta.
Yeah, only in the pasta.
Oh my gosh, I really want some tournament to finally actually put that on the menu.
Imagine going Italian to Italy and Colombia and having to be raw vegan, because nothing is safe, right? Nothing is safe. And you just end up being being a retard. Like when you're raw vegan, you just become annoying to everyone. Then they're gonna ban you just as a human being. And we have OSA, CIA, and ATP are the same organization. Secret op report. I would agree with that. And we have Janina in Foreign, Ohio. How are you, Janina?
I'm cold. How are you?
Well, I am in New York, the homosexual of the podcast. It is weird weather, and I went back to school, and for the past weekend, I've been going out. Like when I wasn't in school, I didn't have to go out home all the time. But apparently, as soon as the universe smelled like this bitch got something real to do, like he got assignments, whatever. Praise the Lord, let's go. It's my birthday. Let's go. I came home in time to watch the finals. Whether I watch the finals on Saturday and Sunday.
I want to show of hands.
Oh.
Who watched the final live?
I mean, not from start to finish. That's for damn
I
sure.
watched the men's for the most part.
What? You got some stories to tell.
I watched the men's for the most part.
Okay. Okay.
Unfortunately, I wasn't watching when Dominic was winning. I only saw when he was losing those sets.
That is the most painful option. Can you imagine?
I know. It was tough.
I already told Bree that the best thing about 5-set matches, especially lately, because we've actually been getting 5-set matches and finals, is like you could just like sleep through the first couple sets.
I didn't get up until 6 and I was good.
Exactly. Like you know what? The funny thing is I woke up and I looked on Twitter to track the score. Because listen, people, we're old now. I can't be staying up all night. And so I woke up and I saw like the news flash that says Dominique dominates the third set. And so I was like, oh, Nole must have won the first two and Dominique snuck the third.
No.
So
Dominic to the second and the
let
third.
me turn on my TV for this fourth compelling set.
Hello, Pablo. Let me introduce the fans who are here. We have Master Ace, we have Tony, we have Pablo, we have Debs, we have O, we have Dima of Coles, who was missing in action, but she came back just as shady as ever. And we have all the secret listeners out there, and Master Ace. I don't know if I did say Master Ace, and all the secret listeners out there.
Where's
Welcome.
Maya?
I always
And
enjoy
Patrick
Master
is
Ace.
here as well.
Master Ace is the most objective of all of y'all. So
Hell.
But I'm suspicious of Master Ace because I always feel he's trying to get me into some Twitter trap. You know, like he's sending me these things and then like, what do you think of this? And I'm like, let me just, I don't want my DMs to be burning up with people trying to come for me, okay? I seem to fall outside the Twitter algorithm because all of the shady shit that I've ever said on Twitter.
I don't know if anyone is shady than Pablo.
Well, can I just say though, just in terms of like, let's just have a moment of silence for Dominic Thiem because let's talk about the fact that Dominic Thiem is doing the heavy lifting. The heavy lifting. I mean, remember when Kay did the heavy lifting and then Chillett snuck a win? Dominic Thiem is doing the heavy lifting for his age group, which is actually not a huge age group because he's not next gen. So I'm like, he's like tucked in there. Is that like a Grigor group too? I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's the kind of late bloomer in the young bloomers.
Yeah, he's
right?
not next gen quite, but he's doing. I feel like this is my sad assessment of this, and that's why he needs to either get into another final immediately or something's gonna happen. I feel like he's gonna do all the heavy lifting while the top three are around. And then they're gonna go.
We're gonna roll up in there and just stuck there.
I know. And then all the other kids are gonna roll up and start getting slams.
Yeah,
because
and he's gonna be like, "What the fuck, man?
I broke my body for this." But
Sasha's gonna
see,
just
really,
be and be like,
ideally, Thiem was supposed to beat Rafa, and then Sasha should have beat Thiem so that Sasha could have maybe taken care of Novak. You don't beat them both. You don't.
I mean, this is the story of the last couple. This is the story of the ATP side. That you always have to go through the two. I mean, and Dominic,
Dominic had the best chances though.
Yeah,
I don't know how that fucking worked out.
I mean, as much as I don't like him, you know what I mean. I just think he's, But I mean, this was beyond an admirable effort. I mean, like, I'm not usually. I'm just like, but if there's ever a charity major should be given out, Dominic needs to get it. I mean, I'm not
interested in that admirable shit.
I mean,
well,
look,
listen to me.
I mean,
Dominic Thiem is the only one in that group, so he's doing the heavy lifting of everyone.
Murray's been showing up in these finals in the past, and Murray's been taking duck. Okay, he's been winning sets. Okay.
The tricky thing though is it's unfortunate for Dominic Thiem because I think what's happened, because you remember when Murray beat Djokovic at Wimbledon. Everybody was like, what's up with that match? Because Novak was not Novak in that match. It's unfortunate that Dominic is like finding these people when they are their full selves in the match,
and they want it still. They still want it. Right. They're not confused about what's happening across what's happening in the moment, what's happening across the net.
Oh, there's like Shady Maya.
Like, hey, Maya and DJ Sama at 21. And because I feel like
Well, Dima is asking what happened to Dominic in the fourth and fifth set. I think he just took his eye off the ball a little bit. Like he got lost in
Oh
the
no
Novak drama.
He fell for the possum game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He like got lost in the Novak drama, which remember we have been charting the Novak drama. Remember Novak 2011 going up against Rafa at the US Open? Novak playing the okie dokie versus Rafa is good. That's like what you do because Rafa does it, so you do it. So you're basically playing possum with each other, and you're all side eyeing each other. But then I'm surprised that Dominic Thiem doesn't know that this is kind of what Novak does in these matches.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he feels that he was treating Nole like French Open Nole. Nole doesn't care about that anymore.
Yeah, French Open Nole definitely went.
Not at Melbourne, boo. At Melbourne, you gotta bring a tractor to mow this bitch down. Like you gotta come like Stan. You just gotta be nasty and ruthless about the whole process. And I don't know if Dominic necessarily has that, could sustain that kind of level. And to me, and I think somehow he thought he could have find his way back out.
Well, he could have. No, there were some chances even in the fifth. There were chances in the fifth, and Dominic, I mean, listen, there was a moment when Dominic, I think, what was it? Was it to go up a break or to break back? He had a forehand wide open. And
he choked. Listen, when it came down to it, when Novak started playing better, Dominic choked. He did not. He was not playing the way that he was playing when he was winning. So period. And listen.
I mean, you got to put your foot on his neck. You got to do it in four.
You have to, in four. And
he should have treated Nole like he treats Rafa. He gets no fucking quarter, nothing.
I saw sets 4 and 5, most of 4, all of 5, and I could hear how the commentators were speaking, and I'm watching Novak just like put all of this stuff in his body, and they were talking about how lethargic he looked and he had no energy and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, he was just like drinking and eating all of this stuff. And, the trainer's out, and I mean, he's taking tablets, and then all of a sudden he's superhuman again, and he's running down all the balls and he's making all the crazy shots. And I really think that at the end of the day, that fucked with Thiem's head. Period.
I mean, that's the point of doing it, though. The point of doing it is that you create this doubt in the opponent because they're like, well, maybe I don't have to be that great. Maybe I just have to sort of force him and lull him into
error and stretch it out, right?
And so then you sort of lose your own like focus but then I still think when Novak became a little bit more of himself, because he was still tense, I still think there were moments in the fifth set. Okay, fine, you lost your way in the fourth. Fine. It's like with Rafa. He kind of lost his way a little bit. But he got back in it. And I was like, all right, still do it. But he just couldn't get himself. But you know what? He didn't look as devastated. I will say he didn't look as devastated to do that the French, because I think in some ways he felt like it was, I don't know, maybe he felt like he actually was on the level, and maybe he can forgive himself a little bit for punking out. Whereas I felt like at Roland Garros, I don't know if he had any chances. I don't know.
Pablo's saying, can we talk about the unique moment, 2 consecutive time violations? I was actually asleep for those. Pablo, please call in. I heard about them talking. I heard them talking, and I do know that was the moment. So if anybody, hasn't seen it yet, it is my understanding that he got 2 time violations, which listen, it's not really up for debate, right? I mean, there's a clock. You're either in time inside that time frame or you're not. So he gets the time violations, then he walks past the chair umpire, reaches up and pats him on the shoe. Granted, it wasn't aggressive, but it was very condescending, and it was an inappropriate dick move. And he says to the chair, oh, well done. You're making yourself a superstar, or some bullshit like that. Amen. It was a complete dick move. And thank you, Tony, for reminding us all of the rules.
Well, I think
you are not allowed to touch an official. Period.
Somebody went online and said, I think it's a finable offense. It's not.
It is a finable offense
but
because you are not allowed to put your hands on the official. Period. Doesn't matter why. You don't do it. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because no, it wasn't aggressive, but yes, it was very condescending, and it was him being the Serbian devil that he is. I mean, he totally brought that out.
Can we talk about why do people get on umpires who are doing their jobs? Wait, in the sense then they say things like, you're trying to be famous. Like, what does that mean? Like, it's like such a weird turn to me to be like, well, you're supposed to be forgettable in the match, which but mind you, that's my assumption about an umpire, is you're supposed to be sort of background. But it's like also the players seem to assume that when they insert themselves in the match, it's about their ego, right?
Well, you know what? No, because this just came
Rafa said to the umpire the last time when he had this situation, he says to the man, "You don't like good tennis."
Yeah,
okay.
He said that
you don't like good
tennis.
You don't like good tennis because in his mind, this is disrupting the flow of play. But you see, again,
also not necessarily just the flow of play. It's also the idea that I'm playing a tennis match where there's a bunch of rallies, because that's usually this is usually what they rail against, right? Is that they've had a very, very long rally and they want the umpire to wait before starting the shot clock because they want that rest. Yeah,
but they usually get that. They do usually get that.
They generally do, but also the point of it is like, mofo, it's your job to not do long ass rallies, but like we be waiting for you for hours. Like what's the timeline for when we should hit the start over button? Like when is it? I think the
ultimate issue is inconsistency, which is a fair point. Because it's not consistent. You know, Kyrgios got called for a time violation, and what did he do? He did the mocking Rafa pre-serve routine, the touching of each side of the hair and picking his butt. And he's right, because
actually Nick didn't do it alone. Simone did it as well.
I'm just saying it happened. And that's ultimately the issue, is that it's not consistent. I think when every single umpire in the chair is consistent with that rule, you know what? Maybe you got to stop giving that extra time in between points, because that creates inconsistency, because some players have those long ruling points more often than others. So maybe it should just be not subjective at all. And when the point's over and they step up to the service line, you start that clock, period.
Here's the thing. One, the time clock is not a new rule. The time clock was just simply enforcing an existing rule, right? Two, again, these players are only being called whenever the shot clock starts, whether it's that 10 seconds after, the rest period or when they're given an on. Once the shot clock is in play, it starts the countdown. That's it for me, right? I don't care if it's 5 minutes after the fact or 2 seconds after the fact. Once it starts, it's in play. And therefore, you cannot Pablo says I'm extending the existing rule, but it's just simply putting in force that it was always 25 seconds or 20 to 30 seconds, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's just enforcing it. Yeah,
it's enforced. Everyone can see.
Not everyone gets called on it. Not everyone. It's the same people.
Everyone gets called on it.
It's the same.
And that's the issue to me.
Listen, we should have called the clock Rafa clock. It's a Rafa Nole clock.
But this is what I find really interesting about the clock since its advent, since it's been in place. That at no point have Rafa and Nole, as far as if I'm not mistaken, have they ever lose their point.
They don't.
So this is why I do not understand why they get so pissed off at the warning, because to me, the warning for those situations, it's beyond being a dick move. It is them flexing their power, and I think that's an abuse of power in that case.
That's true.
Because nothing happens to you.
At work to them too, though. But it's like
nothing happens to you. You never get, because at the rate in which they're violating that time rule, it should be losing steps.
And like Pablo says, because that the clock is actually
Rafa is having this issue. You remember in the past when Roger and Rafa used to play back in the day on regular basis? Roger used to go to the umpire and say, "Look, let's do this. You gotta talk to him from the jump. Let's have this conversation at the jump. Let's not have this happening in the middle of the match, whatever the case may be." this has to be addressed. And I've seen other players when they're facing Rafa said this, and the umpire just like, and then nothing happened. And the most he gets is a warning, and I think the most crucial or dramatic point.
I don't think he's ever been
a break
point. I don't think anybody's ever docked a point. They've never
been docked. Well, if you're Serena and Nick and those kind of people.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the whole thing. No, I mean, I think not any of the people who they created the shot clock for. So I think it's like, I think that's why it's so strange to me, because it's like, they're breaking the rule. So it's like essentially arbitrary when the umpire decides to enforce it. The umpire's like, oh, this is enough. And so in some ways, what I would think of is Novak and Rafa should be like, you know what? I know I've been breaking the rule the whole time. So thanks for the warning. I get it. Do you know what I mean? Because they could have been warned maybe every game, but the umpire's
from the first game. From the first game. I mean, like the very first point. Rafa is already wasting time.
I know. It's all right though. But I mean, I think ultimately though, for this match, I don't think it turned anything. I think all it does was just reveal sort of the intensity of the moment for Novak, and that I guess some people can break the rule and touch an umpire. I mean, we've already seen that. We know the Bryan brothers have touched umpires to no without any major chastisement. They just get fined off court.
Mm-hmm.
We see this about break the freaking umpire straight with the umpire sitting in it, and then they pretend like it's nothing, right? Let's forget about this incident.
Yeah, I mean, Pablo
go on and write reams of paper when Serena is up there advocating for herself.
Yeah, I mean, Pablo, yes, time violations don't dock points only for. But what I'm saying is, if you give successive ones, eventually you're supposed to dock.
Yes,
but they never give it enough to make it.
Right.
So overall, what did you think of the men's tournament?
I mean, it doesn't say anything, right? Because it's the same person winning, right? And in essence, it's out of one convincingly, because he put his foot on the first and the fifth set. You can theoretically say he took a break in between, right?
Probably.
Second and the third set, he took a break. He wasn't feeling it, like he's gonna claim injury. Oh my God, I'm tired of these fucking injury narratives in the fucking final. If you're in the finals, you're fit. If you take the court, you're fit. Stop this nonsense. We don't need to rewrite these.
Well, I don't know if we're going to say that everybody's fit, but we can say that everybody plays with some kind of lingering injury. Might be a better way to put it.
Right, but I mean, like, you're fit enough, because if you took the trophy home, unless you ran over the other person, you won by retirement.
Yeah.
If you played the game set match,
I mean, I think it also, you're right. We have the same fucking winner. We had the same men in the end. Nothing really changed. I mean, Dominic Thiem has been knocking on the door and trying to make some type of breakthrough, and he just can't do it. I feel like he eventually might do it. I don't know. But, at the end of the day, we're still dealing with the same people. I was so excited to think that we might have a new slam winner on the men's side. I was like, oh my gosh, is it going to happen? But no. Of course.
No.
I was surprised, because Dominic started off the match down.
He played well, but I think if Federer maybe would have found a way to get through Novak, then Dominic probably would have had a better chance. Because
Dominic would have snatched that match.
Like I said, I've given that motherfucker full props all season so far. He is playing great tennis, even with all the mind games. It's like he can get dialed in a second's time and just raise his level and make you look stupid. And that's really what he did today. I mean, he just totally.
I think Novak has figured out match management, because I think
for sure.
I mean, which is weird to say, but I think as he gets older, I think it's really useful to figure out when you tune in and when you tune out of a match, right? Because I think he did the same thing at Wimbledon. My sense of it is that Novak was not very good the whole match. And then in that tiebreaker, in the final set, he just was like, here I am.
Exactly.
I'm just like, yep. And I just I know exactly what to do. So I think I'm not saying I don't think he tanked those sets that he lost to Dominic Thiem. I think
No,
was
he just
like,
knows what's more important.
yeah,
Right.
he's just like, you know what, he lost his way, and then he's like, listen, I can dial in though. I can get
We
it.
have
from here.
time. We
I
have
got time. I got time. It's still this
because he
person's
knows,
first
I mean,
slam.
someone like, but it's also that he knows for someone like whether his opponents, right, whether facing Federer and Dominic, time is against them. For them, being on court
The
longer
perception is always
is the
I mean,
problem, right?
it won't always be the case for him. As he gets older, time will come against him.
Right. I mean, in these instances, I mean, he's facing what? Federer is what, 5 years older than him. So he got this motherfucker has to try to get this done in 3, right? The longer this match goes on, right? And also he knows the cycle because Federer then comes out and say it, right? I'm in the match point, flashback to US Open, right? You know what I mean? Especially when the first one gets snatched away.
Well, I mean, and not only that,
and then he's facing Dominic, who's a young kid. I mean, relative to him, and who again is in his first final,
and also
final.
But let's also talk about the fact that the court really helps Novak.
Ooh.
I mean, the court just gives
tremendously
him so much. It gives him so much time, right? It gives him so much time
and
to do
whatever
all the things that he does up there.
Crazy shit.
It's like,
I was just like,
I mean, that's why you're getting grindy points. I mean, which, by the way, I think is one of the reasons why Dominic Thiem ended up in this hard court final is because the court was playing so slow.
It's so slow,
and so it's like
fucking clay.
You know what I mean? And so I think in many ways,
set up that backhand.
Yeah. I mean, I think what's really interesting is that they've actually altered the court to suit their champ so that maybe they can continue to get the champ that they want to have, which is hilarious because I know.
And who is this infamous they?
Well, no, because they have the Australian Open folks. They had a new person. They had a new person.
But it's not the fans.
No, it's not the fans. But I mean, it's like what I think is interesting is that in some ways. No, listen, and I think that's fair. Like maybe that's just a thing you want.
Why
right?
are y'all having a conversation about another podcast? What is happening?
But I think it's fine that you could do that. Like you could.
See again, I go back to
the court you want, so you could have the 8-time champion, or you could have.
This is the thing I find annoying about tennis, and what really this is where when fans are out on the street quarreling and making. This is what I do not understand. How is it that the tournament gets to dictate these kind of things by themselves? There is no player input. I mean,
do they get to vote?
What kind of players?
No, because the interesting thing is that players do get to voice concerns about the ball, but maybe that is the problem here. It's only when the affected player is the top player, right? Because Rafa makes a big stink about ball. Remember, balls was for a year an issue for him.
Well, they had new balls this year, and then remember there was a year at the French Open when they changed the balls and it was like too light. And I think it was like maybe it was 2009 they had changed the balls and it was weird, and 2010.
And what I find to their other about a lot of these conversations is that it always coach speed is always dictated. Conversation is centered around men. Women have to come out and play in the same court.
Listen, they don't care about the women. Listen, I've never seen anyone do an analysis of how the court speed affects the women's game.
Never.
It's always about how you have for the guys.
How you have all of these women winning, different women winning, and the men keep the same set of men keep winning. Yeah, because they're playing on a court that's built specifically for men.
For their game. I'm curious to see what would it be like if you decided that you wanted to change.
So if the court was fast, the way.
Well, I think if the court was fast, then you would have potentially get like a Zverev get through a team, and then you might.
Well, I mean,
have aggressive.
Speaking of the women, though.
Yep. I mean, you might reward somebody who's a good server, a good server.
Right. We'd have Venus playing better. We'd probably have Coco going further. We'd have Serena going further.
People who are like Sylvan Valia with a faster chord, that would be a point of the game, right? You might have less errors on the women's side.
Well, I don't even know I mean, like if you think about Kenin, right? Sofia or Sonia, whichever one you want to call her. I mean, like she's really good from the back of the court. The surface really helped her.
She has time.
She has a ton of time. And it was interesting to, but let me not skip over there. But I mean, yes, I think court surface definitely helps Novak. And then he feels like he has a lot of, he knows the pressures on the other opponent.
And a lot of options.
It's
And he's
like,
been here about 8 times before.
yeah, I mean, like, 'cause I don't think that this was the best Novak. I mean, I think he won, but I think this is like probably what, 70%.
He would have never given Murray this kind of look. Never. Never. Murray would have never have this kind of look. Not even better.
I don't know. Janina makes a claim. I don't know if it was slowed down for Rafa. I think it was slowed down because people thought, like, it was all based on the freaking Wimbledon issue, right? Like, the court was too fast. It was like rewarding big servers. And people are like, I need these courts to be slower because we can't just have wham, bam, thank you, ma'am points. Right? That was supposedly the rationale. Even though for years
at the rise of Rafa. No, it was talked about. It was at the rise of Rafa. There's some chatter out there that it was.
Well, it's the equalizer.
It was the equalizer for Federer. Federer was with every given Sunday in a final.
Yep.
Rafa was having difficulty, though it wasn't it called too much upon Rafa to beat Federer elsewhere. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It was going to it called too much that Federer still had the upper hand anywhere else but on clay. Right? And they needed to shift that because Federer, I much people may not like. I don't think Federer was beloved in the beginning. He came off as arrogant to some people, and he's the very poster child of tennis, right? He looks club tennis. He looks like a rich family. He looks Rolex. And Rafa, though he comes from the same thing,
I know, rich is everything.
Rafa is the man from the sticks, right? Rafa is a people's champion. You know, he's a country boy. You know, like he don't eat. You know, like he eats with his fingers. I mean, I don't know where that
they're just as wealthy, but
I don't know where that narrative came from because ain't nobody as bougie as Rafa.
Well,
Rafa
you know what
looked like he has contempt for everyone.
It's slightly racist, though. It's slightly the Spaniard racism thing. That's really what it is. It's like the darker person. They're fiery. They've got a whole thing going. It's very plays into that, right. Which is the idea that Rafa's earthy. Right. You know, it's silly because they're both very wealthy.
They're both the same, and I thought that uncalled for a documentary would have showed that. But despite the evidence being there, it's not what is being said off the evidence, though. You understand what I'm saying? Like, all the evidence is there that they're the same person, right? They speak of themselves as having a similar pattern of how they go about their business, right? And in fact, they seem to have a good relationship, much to my chagrin, off the court. But still, people are going to describe them as fire and ice. Yeah. They're not fire and ice. They're the same guy.
Oh yeah, I mean, so they changed the courts to create the any given
right because it definitely helped Rafa. It definitely helped Rafa because I mean, like Rafa had no business. Carlos Moya used to skip the French Open. Spaniards didn't show up at Wimbledon. I mean, sorry, Spaniards skipped Wimbledon. Like it was just like what not happening. And then Rafa just took that to another level. I mean, I would say Juan Carlos Ferrero really took that. He made an effort to play elsewhere and really pushed it. And I believe Juan Carlos 2003 US Open is yours. I don't care what anybody tell me. Andy Roddick shouldn't have a slam.
Oh, here you go.
Leave him alone. But I mean, but I think it was helpful. Listen, it was helpful to have those two beat it out.
Because ever since that period, right, there are no more fast courts.
Except for a couple like Shanghai, and everyone remarked about the Australian Open being fast in 2017 and what a breath of fresh air that was. But then everybody got upset.
People complained that was done specifically for Federer, right?
Which I think was silly because actually what it could have done was just favored some of the younger guys so they didn't have to grind their bodies into the dust.
And I'm just simply Rafa end up in the finals, didn't he? I was up a break in the fence. Exactly. So I'm just like, I don't understand how that is, but I'm just simply saying in terms of like, you cannot relentlessly have 11 months of tennis all year long and have everybody playing on these slow, ridiculous clay court games.
Well, they're not protesting it, so nobody. I mean, that
was actually going to be my original point, was that the players don't seem to be advocating for like a standard. Like I don't know
that they have a voice in that.
I feel like they can. I mean, they somewhat have a voice with.
Listen, they don't even have a voice when it rains. Why do you think they have any kind of say?
No.
In court speed.
not to have a voice when
No,
it rains.
no. You're wrong. You're wrong. If the umpire says that court is fit to play and the player refuses to not play, the player is defaulted. They do not have a say.
Listen to me again. You could take it. Can I speak to a manager, please?
Well, I mean,
Listen
listen,
to
for
me.
the younger
If
That's
players,
the
players are
rule,
in
though,
the-
Reels.
No,
That is the rule.
Janina, I am not disputing what is the rule. I'm simply saying that these players, they're independent contractors, right? As far as I'm aware, right? Isn't that what
No,
they say?
they could get
on the
together.
outside.
Well,
They
they
don't
could
do
get
that.
together and have a discussion about all.
They
the
don't
players.
do that shit.
Exactly.
Well, we know they don't, but the court speed should be something they consider
Exactly.
because it
When
is
you have,
ruining their bodies. I mean, let's just talk about Team again. We're talking about the fact that Team will be done by the time these three guys leave the court. They
Exactly. He might be walking off the tour with Federer.
I know.
Dominic Thiem can, because listen to me, Dominic Thiem has he's definitely added muscle to his body. He doesn't look the same this year as he did last year. And also, let me just
he added muscle, but you know what? That Dominic also added a little bit of. I have to say, because I was looking at him and it's like
blonde hair dye.
Well, that hair dye, but also a little bit of a transition game, like not always wailing on the ball, like the slice, like Dominic adding that slice, giving himself time. Because he's got such a huge, like, winding shot. Like, I'm always like, that's one of the things I don't like about Dominic Thiem. I'm like, whoa, this looks like it's going to just go bad.
His game does look cleaner.
Yeah, it looks cleaner. Like he's just smarter out there. I mean, he still has to go so big to be effective. But now I feel like his margins are better. But when he needed it this time around, it's almost like it just didn't quite. Like I was thinking about compare Dominic Thiem's performance in the final against Nole to the match against Rafa. I just felt like he was just like all in the Rafa match. He was like, I gotta go. I gotta keep it going. Now, maybe it's because Rafa's not as good a hardcourt player as Novak, sure. But I still felt like he just went for his shots and just remained relentless. But in somehow or another, he got a little bit confused or complacent or something. I don't.
Well, Nole doesn't have that kind of liability that Rafa has, right?
Yeah, Rafa
was giving us those short little forehand cute boxes.
That's true. Nole does hit the ball nice and deep. So
I mean,
oh my God,
not only does Dominic have time, he can step in the full court, right?
Yeah,
he could be pushing Rafa back. So Nole isn't going to make those kind of mistakes. But you're right that his level of aggression. But I mean, look. He was down 3-love in the beginning of that match, and that he could accept that and roll with it and take the second and the third and make a push for play, I guess, in the fifth and fourth. I mean, that is commendable. I mean, and he's not a hardcore player. I mean, he had an ugly beginning of the year. I mean, like Austria came down here for Lever, ATP Cup, and thought they had a reliable singles player in him and Sasha. And turned out in Germany and Austria, and turned out that these two motherfuckers should have just gone in the bench. You should have put.
But do you guys know that? Do you guys know that with the ATP Cup and the and this slam, Novak's already like miles.
Yeah, he's miles ahead.
Unbelievable.
He's done.
I saw somebody tweeted out that he has the same number of points that Berrettini had in order to get into the top 10.
Oh my God. I believe that. You know, they're always like, so far ahead. But you know what? It's not enough to garner an enthusiastic round of applause when you win a slam. Listen, this motherfucker won match point and there was booing. And I was like, whoa.
I mean, let me not say tired. Let me just say, I mean, to have watched Dominic Thiem, if you're a fan of his, right? Don't know who you are, but you mean, like, I guess you exist. But if you paid your money, you would have had to have some interest in Dominic. I mean, just because you want your money's worth. This is tough.
No, that's not love. Period.
Listen to me.
Wait, leave it though. Do you remember the narrative? That it only mattered who he was playing against. That as soon as the people had moved on, that he would always get the love if he was playing one of the younger players. And I remember him saying that 2 years ago, and I was like,
I don't know about that. But, I mean,
Ben Rothenberg had the perfect tweet today regarding that. Perfect. Did you see it?
Yes, it said there are 3 things in tennis, or 3 zealous crowds. Number 1, Federer. Number 2, Rafa. And number 3, anyone playing against Nole, which...
Oh, I found it. It says the 3 most reliably crowd-supported players in men's tennis: 1, Federer; 2, Nadal; 3, whoever is playing Djokovic. Is that not the truth? Is that not the fucking truth?
I don't understand.
People don't love that motherfucker.
And I think he should accept that, though, because then he also needs to recognize it's also that he doesn't give people much, right? And people are not stupid. They're not robots out there for most of the time. And I mean, like, he really doesn't give the crowd anything, right? I mean, plus, and here's the thing, Nole, you might not like this. And maybe you should have a word with Simona. It's probably, and maybe Bernie, it's not probably just you, it's your surrogates. Because in the stands, your fans are really too much. They're
don't
really
even say that. It has nothing to do with that. They don't.
No, listen to me. Look, you want to get mad. So at the
Dude
ATP
had a
Cup,
rugby
right?
hat on.
No,
the
at the
Serbia
ATP
against the world guy had a rugby hat on, or water polo or some shit.
Wait,
it was so weird.
Y'all didn't watch the final between Rafa and Nole at the ATP Cup. I mean, what's his name? Leani might not be the best person, might not be the perfect person to set this example. But Leani literally had to speak to the crowd in Serbian. Y'all need to stop. Just stop. Y'all are doing too much. So much so to the point that Zimonjic came over and be like, you could tell the crowd to stop, but you don't have to say it in Serbian.
They don't
But
know
bro, it's your people. It's your people.
No.
And I mean, like, I ain't mad at y'all for being happy and whatever. I mean, like, it's Nole, you know what I mean? And it's proud, nationalistic, whatever. You might not be paid agents like Simona's, you know, like the Trump, you know, campaign. But at the end of the day, let me tell you something. Sometimes I don't like people because of people who like them. And if I'm in the crowd and I paid my money and some idiot is carrying on about rabidly about Nole, I might not have a feeling and whatever the case may be, but you know, it's just imagine just like, God, I can't stand these people. I don't want to see them happy. I don't want to see their joy. It might be petty, it might be being a hater, but it's a reality, right? You understand what I'm saying?
My God.
Your people up there acting a hot mess.
I don't think, you know, listen, it's like it's interruption. You know what I mean? It's an interruption of the Federal story. People are reared. Tennis players of the last, or tennis fans of the last 10 to 15 years have been reared with their faves. You roll up in here and you're trying to interrupt the story. And now it looks like you're probably going to emerge, as someone made the point, you're going to probably emerge objectively with the numbers. You're going to get all the numbers, and it still will stick in people's craw, and it won't matter. It really won't. I mean, we were having a discussion on Twitter.
But it would be and the other thing is that it will be defined within the context of these two people.
Yes, but that's the whole. But isn't that the same thing that happened with Federer and Rafa? Like, they were defined within the context of each other.
Because here's the thing, and here's the problem with that. Again, it's the Nole fam, right? Nole fam have stated that the Rafa, particularly Federer, because Federer is the source of the bane of their existence, that Federer's numbers are irrelevant because Nole didn't exist.
I know.
So, therefore, you can only say Nole relevance only matters because of Federer's existence.
I know. It's the ultimate irony.
You created a narrative way.
This is why you have to be
everything
careful.
Else.
This is why you have to be careful who you kill on the way to the top, right? Because you've been like savaging. You've been savaging this, and you've been savaging numbers. You've been savaging like rankings. You don't care. You're talking about soft this. You're talking about all of this stuff, and now the race is on for your fave. And guess what's gonna happen to those numbers? They're gonna savage his numbers too. Because you lay that ground. I mean, I like a reaping what you sow narrative.
And my other thing is just like, just accept it, Nole. People don't like you, just let it go. Look at Medvedev. He ain't crying over the people don't like him. In fact, people like the fact that he don't like them.
I don't actually think no one like. I don't really think it's about them not.
I mean, people like Medvedev, but Medvedev is just like, you want to boo me? Go ahead, motherfuckers, boo me. But you will.
He likes being the
I'm
villain
gonna
in the
walk
match.
out here as the winner,
He
right?
feeds off that
it's-
shit.
But listen, honestly though, do you all think that if Novak Djokovic was beloved, that he would have the same energy? I think he thrives off of negative attention.
I think
do.
he wants to be loved like Federer and Rafa are loved, and I think he is genuinely butthurt that he's not.
No,
But I don't think it.
Yeah,
I think it animates him to fight against. So I don't understand what it would be like if he went into a space and it was like full acceptance.
But
he would be weird.
Actually, we have seen this though, because to me, he's chasing these numbers and whatever the case may be, and his existence is, I think for him, his mental thing is he himself, beyond how his rabid fans count him, he places himself against Federer and Nadal, and he keeps telling himself, if I just do this one thing, I'm going to get it,
I feel
right?
so sad
And
about
I
it.
think
'Cause
that's
it's not
where
going to
the
matter.
breakdown happened at the French Open. When he won the French Open, he went in a shit show. I mean, when he won the French Open, the tour was supposed to collapse and he just take everything, right? But in fact, he was the one who collapsed because he broke the tour.
Yep, and
Right?
it didn't
He
matter.
really broke the tour.
Which is a hint. Take the hint, Novak. I just hope everybody understands that. You won the French and had all 4 slams at the same time, and there wasn't the response that you expected. So let me just let you all know that when you get to that next mountain, it will be the same thing. It will be the same thing because the narrative was not meant for you.
It'll really be wasn't. Murray whispering in your ear.
Yeah, it was not meant for you. It was meant to be like a battle. Listen, the GOAT narrative was meant to be a battle between Federer and Rafa. That's what that was for. They didn't want a spoiler to come in. You've come in and it's helpful, but that's not what they want. And even if you surpass them both, I'll tell you the silence will be deadly. Because it's the same silence that came after you won the French. And you're like, wait a minute, am I not going to get the prize? What's going on?
You get nothing, mofo. Nothing.
Because it's not really about that. It's really silly and it's strange, but that's not what it's about.
I mean, statistically, Rolex thing and roll out another campaign for your ass after giving Federer $20 million. In fact, Rolex trying to continue. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there is only one person. There's only one crown, like Miss Universe or whatever the case may be. There's a bunch of beautiful women on stage and they're all smart and whatever the case may be. But the prize only goes for one person. Someone has to get second.
And they already decided in their mind who they want the prizes.
Exactly.
And lovely drama girl, you're right. Like, he does thrive on negative attention, but he also wants to be considered a statesman and ambassador for the sport. But you know what? It's like Real says, it can't be you, boo. You can't create all this drama on court and then 10 minutes later call for global unity. What the hell? What?
Exactly. It can't be like people are not stupid. People. And here's the thing, because you are here's the other thing that you may not like, Nole. Rafa and Federer, maybe however they do their dirty deed, they do it very well. They are not a PR nightmare. I'm gonna keep any campaign on edge.
They really aren't.
They're not. Really aren't. I mean, you tried to get one affair the other day, and that shit was news all over the Ghana place. Your wife was pregnant at home. The scene, the optics, your family are messy, your parents are messy, your friends are messy. Your friend was caught doping. Shit, boo. They didn't want to touch you with a 10-foot pole. I mean, what? What's the other one? Uniqlo tried to help your ass, and you didn't want it. Uniqlo tried to help Federer? No, look, everybody out here buying Uniqlo. Look at that. You had it. It's not to say that it wasn't given to you. You had it. You just can't hold the bag, boo.
But it can't hold the bag. The whole thing is you've got to, as you say, Kobe's your mentor. Which, by the way, how weird is it that Kobe story came out just before Kobe's death, and then it was like, what? Like, it was just such a strange thing because he never talks about that. Like, obviously, it was a secret. It wasn't something that was always up, and then suddenly he talks about it, and then it's like, my mentor. And then I thought to myself, well, why would he contact Kobe? And I was like, well, maybe the affair, and then maybe the injury. Like, I guess he sees parallel in their careers. And then I thought, well, also Kobe had to get over the MJ thing, right? Like he had to create his own legacy out of like, the spotlight of another person. So there are lots of like parallels to their story. But look, see, Kobe's beloved.
You know why Kobe goes saying on court, your ghosts are right in front of you, man. man, for real. You can touch the people that will keep you up at night. Your nightmare. You see your nightmare. You have to deal with your
He's his own
nightmare.
fucking nightmare. That's
fine though. You know what? I don't listen, Novak. Do with you. You're like, what is it? Like you're fine. You got 8. This is 8
mofo.
8 mofo on a hard ass court. I mean, it's sandy, but it is hard court. Sandy hard court. Congratulations. Yeah, I mean, obviously Kobe didn't care about the reaction from the crowd. That's what helped him. But I mean, you know. Listen.
And I just gotta say, for all this shit people talking on here, if you win tournament, you get the prize money and the trophy. That's all that's guaranteed to you. That's it. Nothing else.
But I don't. You know what?
Well, lovely drama girl says that.
Better. I think he's gotten so much better. Like, I mean, he'll never be at another level. But I think, let's be honest, it's gotten so much better for Novak Djokovic.
Well, for sure.
Because people ignore him now.
Well, also because he's hidden the parts of him that were really contentious to people, but it's still the reason why. Like the thing that's interesting about the whole thing is that, and now listen, there's a clear bias. There's like a clear Eastern European bias, and I think he's tried to de-emphasize it as much as possible within the middle of his career. He sort of moved away from that and was trying to do this like, I'm an everybody athlete. I'm an elder statesman.
I'm an international. I'm a UN ambassador.
Yes, less. I'm not particular to a country, and now he's finally settling back into the fact that, like, listen, I have a Serbian.
Well, you can't live in Monte Carlo then.
Yeah. I mean, anyway, we can move on. But like on the men's side, the other surprise was definitely, as Pablo said and Master A said, I think the fall off for Medvedev.
I mean, yeah, but you know why? I think Medvedev probably has to have a rundown.
He's tired. Tsitsipas is unreliable.
Yeah, and he had all this talk.
Tsitsipas
was just like, I was going to make it to the hill. I was going to get to Everest today.
You know, we can't. He's just a hot mess in his head. He's got a lot of sorting out to do there. I think one day he probably will be a force to be reckoned with on tour. He's just not there yet. He's got some work to do. Medvedev, I think, you know what? I think Medvedev probably gets a slam before Dominic Thiem.
Probably if he plays his cards right and it turns out he might not have to get through 2. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
That's the trick.
I think Medvedev also knows how to manage these situations a little bit better. I think he. I
think he doesn't care. I think Dominic is at a point in his career where he has hovered right below the big 3 so often and for so long that he probably is putting up some extra pressure on himself to finally get it. Medvedev, although avid watchers know that he didn't come out of nowhere, kind of looks to the average watcher that he came out of nowhere, and he doesn't have this pressure on him to, finally step up and perform, but he's got the game to snatch it from somebody. He can beat any one of the big 3 on any given day. I don't doubt that for a second. But Dominic's got a pressure on him that Medvedev doesn't have. So I think ultimately that favors Medvedev.
But I also think the other thing, and this is,
Dominic has been the only one consistent of the
right, but he hasn't been able to actually break through.
But
and
to
get
your
that
point,
title.
though, Janina, Dominic really doesn't want it unless, like he said it in the presser, he said he wants to do it before the big 3 retires because it won't mean as much when they're gone.
Of course not. Yeah, it's going to be like, you won, but you didn't beat them.
Think about that.
That's a hot, messy. That's giving you
a hot, messy equation, right? Because
that's giving you a task that you don't even need.
Yeah,
I know.
That's what the pressure is. That's it right there.
Sit down there and Chris Sasha was on the other side of the draw, and he took care of Nole, and you get Sasha in the finals.
Well,
that's what
but it tells you a lot about how these players are calculating what it's going to mean to win a slam against whomever,
and win, and how they manage the story in their mind.
Yeah, it gives us a huge look into how they think.
The ladies don't care if they have to walk over their grandmother.
Yeah, let's move on to the ladies.
They're going to I just want to say a word for my boo. But I think it makes sense, though. I think it makes sense on the women's side.
listen, it still matters who you're beating in the final. But the women have gotten to a place where anyone's in that final. So you can't be, you're just happy to get the win.
Right.
I
So
think
you
on the
can't be
men's
trying
side,
to
who you
choose it
beat
like,
is a part of the
females not
narrative.
in the final, not interested in that. That's just being Muguruza. Okay? If Williams sister not in the final, you're not interested. But let me just pay a word for my friend Sasha Zverev because I'm petty and O is in the chat box. Oh, my boo came through. He came through.
Well, also, we're going to have to beat up him. We're going to have to beat up O because Delpo's out there cheering on Nole. Take your ass somewhere else, Delpo.
See, I'm telling you, when I tell you, Delpo is the saltiest man on tour. Ain't nobody else salty than him.
Well, you know what Delpo did what? There's only a few people who can who wins a title against the big three. Delpo still wants that.
Oh my God. And how many surgeries is he gonna? What do you mean? He came through what? You get that shit out of here.
He
got to the final.
You remember last week I said, I watched Zara play Nando and I didn't want to talk on it because Zara was just like magical. It was like a unicorn on court. So he's played Dominic, right? And he handled that motherfucker in the first set. Handled him. Dominic was about to go home.
No, Dominic was like, Sasha was like, I'm gonna send you to Nole.
Exactly. No. And in the second set, no. Sasha was all ready to go to the finals. He was ready.
Yeah, I don't know why he lost. Why lose?
I tell you what, his good old double fall friend showed up in that second set. 2 in a row.
Listen,
in a row.
I think that this was. I think this was so good for Sasha.
You could see in his head that he lost. He just knew, he just like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to think about this all the time now. Because in the other matches, he didn't have to think about his serve. It was just on. He was just getting it through. He had 2 in a row, and I think in the third point, it was a second serve, and you could see that slowly he started to deflate like a balloon. But yes, this is a good roundup for Sasha.
Listen, Master Ace, we don't care about the ATP Cup, and neither did Sasha. Sasha showed you the ATP Cup didn't matter one bit. Sasha's like, listen, I got you. Nole's got the ATP Cup. He's got a bunch of points. Nobody cares. No one's gonna even remember who won it.
And Sasha give all of his money onto the fire people?
Or I think
no, he was only doing that if he won the trophy. But yeah, maybe he still will.
No, but in the end, he gave 50. I think in the end he announced that it was given.
Right?
You know what? I'm with Andreen. She says, "Let us know where this money goes."
$6 million. But listen, you know what? The idea that Sasha is behind schedule. Let me tell you something. Sasha is smart. He's leaving the heavy lifting to
Dominic.
Listen, he's gonna be right on time. He's gonna be right on time. He's time to peak. And they can call him, they could be salty about it all they want, but he's going to be right on time.
Yeah, just do it, right?
Listen, nobody's sitting around worrying about these women not beating Serena in finals, or some of them getting a Serena that we don't know in finals. They're taking their slam titles and they're running with it. So Sasha is of that mindset. Can I tell you, he really is of that mindset. I don't think he's got the mindset that Dominic Thiem has, which is I need to beat the big three. Sasha's like, I don't care. Give me a slam. Give me a slam. Yeah. Oh, I get it. I don't care.
Here's the thing that Sasha doesn't think about it, because Sasha knows at the end of the day, more than likely they would be there anyway. My thing is just getting there, giving myself that shot. And that's what he's not figured out. Because here's the thing, Dominic, like ain't nobody else showing up in these finals. Yeah. Like who you gonna meet in the Roland Garros finals but Rafa? Who else?
I'm gonna say it now. He's not gonna make this final.
Who's not gonna make a final? What?
Rafa is not making the Roland Garros final this year.
Oh, hot damn, Andrew!
And it is when the trophy, when the statue roll out. Ooh.
No, let me tell you something, because this is the year he needs to do it. Right? This is the tying. I'm gonna tie the numbers. I don't think it's gonna happen. Although I must say, I'm super impressed that Rafa has been so good. Rafa's body did not falter. Did not falter at all during this.
Well, I bet you Acapulco won't be feeling that same way because he's not showing up in Acapulco. I know.
Listen, he should be fine. He's going to
hang out. What's fucked up about when Andreen says shit like this? She's almost always right.
Sometimes I'm right. But you're
right a lot of the times. You're like a fucking witch.
I'm not like, hey,
I don't
guys.
think he's gonna win. I think a lot of the other players now, I think on the ATP they realize, you know what? We just gotta try to bowl these motherfuckers out early.
Also, because you know what?
Because you know Rafa looked sketchy. I knew Rafa was not gonna win this title when he was fighting with the boldness.
Well,
If the bonus would have strong
you know
up,
what?
then Rafa would have been out all
But
year.
that's Rafa on hard. Rafa's been hardcore struggle tennis, but he gets himself in position. You know, the thing that's noteworthy is I have a weird. This is Novak wants the 4. He wants to try it again this year. He wants to try again this year because you know what?
Even if, but you know what?
Consolidation. That's the consolidation.
Even
Imagine
if
you bypass, you get your number that you want. What is he at? What 17? You get to 17, but you don't just get to 17. You get to 17 4 in the same year.
Oh, it don't matter if Rafa don't show up at Monte Carlo. He still wins the Roland Garros. Like
so.
You don't need those titles anymore.
I don't think we're way ahead of ourselves, but I don't think that even if Rafa doesn't get there, I don't know that Noli wins it.
I don't know if he does either, but I'll tell you, what do we say? What do we say at the start of the season? That Novak's job this year is to cock block. That's what he wants to do. He wants to cock block Rafa, and he wants to take all of these numbers. He wants to leap over Rafa. Take that leapfrog. So and he's going to convince.
I can't believe he's only at 16. He's only at 17 now. Wow.
Yeah. He wants that mambo. He's going to use that mambo mentality for the year, and he's going to convince himself that it's for his mentor. You know.
Oh my God.
Oh whatever. God,
I'm not here for it.
Anyway, let's moving on to the ladies. So
we need to have a quick ad break and an announcement before we move on to the ladies.
Please go for it.
So we, promised you guys that we would promote Tony, which we always do because he harasses the fuck out of me to do so. So don't forget to go to tenniswatchers.com and get your yearly calendar. But he's so supportive of our podcast, and he has generously decided to donate 2 calendars to 2 lucky listeners who have participated in the YouTube chat. And I would like to announce those winners right now. The first winner is the lovely Maya. You will be getting a Tony calendar. And the second winner is the sometimes lovely O. You will also be getting a calendar. So Tony will reach out to you and get your addresses, and you'll get your prize. Keep listening.
People are randomly selected.
I guess.
Yes, you're randomly selected chat people.
And best of luck for you all. February is 2 hotties. 2 hotties. 2 hotties.
Chad, Maya, and I. Can I have your calendars? Chad's an asshole.
2 hotties.
Pablo says
one.
Yeah, Pablo says it's fixed. You'll never know, bitch.
It just fixes these draws that we roll out every time. But
right.
All right, let's get to it, ladies. Let us get to the women's side.
The ladies, this is by no means to say that we are overlooking, but you know what? These Grand Slams, in my opinion, I don't have that certain. There's a sizzle in the. No, it's not an end and a want note, no matter what. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe because my faith don't show up as Demas. So for me, it's just like, after all that fanfare, and I'm sorry. Muggs, girl. Garbine, we were doing so well. I picked you and no one even picked you. And then you showed up in the final and let this girl just snatch this thing away. Two pieces. You lose the last 12. You lose the last 12 out of 16 games, girl. What?
Listen.
I mean, you're the one who bageled Venus. Why wasn't this person showing up against Venus?
She didn't have the right angst.
I mean, are you like Dominic? No, I don't want a title unless it's a Williams sister. Girl.
Mugs.
Don't be like that.
So I woke up and I was like, let me check scores, because that's what we do. We don't wake up for this shit anymore, especially when it's not your fave. So I get up and I check the scores. It's like 4:00. I see Kenin drop the first set, but she is up in the second. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, what? So I get up and I'm watching, and you know what? It was good. It was good. Like both of them were playing really well. Kenin just played the big points better. Period. She just played the big points better. She until she didn't. I mean, not she didn't. Muggs didn't. Yeah, double faulting on match point. That's tough, man. That's tough. But I don't know. It was good. It was good. I wasn't. I know Real said that, you know, he was here for Muguruza, and if she didn't, we both kind of said if she doesn't pull this out, she's dead to me. But I did get to watch a lot of it, and it really was good. So I just, you know, you watch it differently when it's not your favorite. You can appreciate actually what you're watching a little bit more, and it was genuinely good tennis. Muggs just fucked up in some key moments, and Kenin, she capitalized. It was you know, nice to see.
Was it nice to see though?
It was nice to not see somebody choke and crumble when you're in your first Grand Slam final. I mean, Muguruza should have. She's been there before. She's a Grand Slam champion. She should have been able to, at the very least, take advantage of a newbie being there and the pressure that she must be feeling. It was like all the pressure was on Muguruza. It maybe in some respects it was because she totally did, and it fucked her because she should have won. But I'll tell you what, the absolute only thing I got in the entire women's draw right, and you know this is a stretch because I sure as hell didn't pick Kenin. I didn't even pick her to get that deep, but I did pick the winner would come from this section, and it did. It just wasn't who I thought. Oh God, who it wasn't. Not even close. Oh my God. What a mess.
I mean, I think so. The sense of it's obviously it's a very, very good outcome from Kenin because she got a nice set of people that she went through.
She did.
She went through some good people. I thought Ons would have her number because I just thought that Ons had a little bit more court craft, but fair enough. She got through her very easily. Barty, I mean, this is
why I don't go to the party. I said it. I know there are haters out there who hate me because I'm not a big fan of Barty. But you see, right here. This is why I don't go to the party.
Well, I didn't watch.
Apparently,
I didn't watch that match. Did you watch it?
I don't know who.
I ended up watching, not the Barty one. I ended up rewatching the final because it was on TV. They replayed it, and I mean, you know what? It was as outrageous a run as the Ostapenko run. Everyone says it's true. Mm-hmm. Like that was the person showed up, was ready for the moment, and was going to take it. Now, the thing I don't need is the narrative about who this person's going to be next, because we all saw what happened to Ostapenko. And listen, they're not the same.
Well, we should have known because Ostapenko hasn't won a title before and or after. Actually, to the light, she did win a title recently, didn't she?
Nothing important.
I think she ended up. Well, she was playing really well in doubles, but
I think after she lost that title to Coco, she won a title the next week. No, or something.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't recall. But I mean, we can't recall. But I mean, the thing
that speaks volumes, right?
That speaks volumes.
Not necessarily for us because we don't recall a lot of things. But I mean, I think what's interesting is this question of, do we need a consistent champ on the women's side to bring the game to another level, right? Because it's like someone's like, I couldn't remember who had won the last couple slams, because it's you know, it's like, it's one good thing to have like a tournament or a tour that's really deep where anyone can win, but the unpredictability of anyone winning does kind of I don't know what it does. It's a different vibe. It gives the wins a different weight. Like, it doesn't have the heaviness of the men's side because you know how much work you got to get there.
Because there isn't a concentrated fan effort, right?
Yeah, there's which is what I was hoping would happen with Muggs. Like, I was like, you know what, Muggs, you're right. This is your time to consolidate,
solidify those fans that you
like consolidate,
straggling out there waiting for you.
Yeah, be the big boss lady. Come in here, win this thing and potentially have people be excited for you at Roland Garros because you can win it. Do you know what I mean? And like, there's this like journey that you can go on where you can kind of feel like, oh wow, I'm really gonna get on this. I'm gonna get on this train. Right now, I mean, it's nice. You can always get a new train, but it's a strange feeling. It's just very different, and it doesn't have the same weightiness. Like when you're like any given Sunday, Serena's there, somebody's across from her, and can they take it to her? That kind of thing, you know. So, you know, it feels like a lottery. A good lottery. You still have to win all 7 matches, but it just doesn't have the same feeling.
And here's the thing, Kenin. No matter what, anti-blackness is always going to give you some props.
Oh, stop it! Do you think
I don't know anything about her.
Yeah, I mean, in the sense so much so that, you know, whenever these new girls show up, what young ladies show up, everybody is ready to appoint to the next thing because they want to diminish Serena. Again, they're trying to make a point. The point isn't made in and of itself. The point is always made contract to Serena, right? And yet, at the end of the day, when the next tournament show up, they're gonna say, you know, for Australian Open, Kenin, and people are gonna be like, who? Who's that? I've never seen.
Well, I
her.
mean, think about who was the last winner, Andreescu, and she's still not back yet.
Right. You know what I mean? Like you gotta stay relevant, baby. You gotta stay here.
Yeah,
I mean, look at
here.
Osaka solidified that situation because she won the next major, right? So she still has a lot of she still has some capital to burn.
Who had capital?
Osaka.
Well, the
she followed up the next major and won it, right?
Well, the thing is so funny is like people have already dismissed Osaka. I was like, what? She
Still,
dismissed herself. And I was like, why are you dismissing yourself?
But I think she enjoys that. Though. I think she doesn't want all of that. Like I think Kenin and her father want. They want all the limelight. But
I
think it's good. I think it's very good.
Want that?
Huh?
Why do you think they want that?
Oh, they're hungry for it.
It translates to dollars. That's
yeah,
where they
I don't know. I'm just asking, like, if something is bad or.
No, because let me.
No, I mean, I think. Listen, I think Kenin comes out of the Maria Sharapova school. She models herself after Sharapova. Her father and that relationship they have. That is what they want. So they're not sitting around going, "I don't want this." They want the money. They want the fame. They want the attention. I mean, the father was complaining about lack of attention.
Well, you know,
deserves it. And so, guess what? Here it comes. You asked for it, and it's about to come.
I mean, you'll get to be on like Good Morning America or something when you get home, and then you'll probably fizzle out.
No, I mean, listen. If they're smart, they roll. Listen, it is not a bad time to be a Russian American winning things.
No, it's not.
No, it is not. So it is It's the right media environment. You go up on Fox.
You got until November.
Do whatever.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then some.
Yeah, I mean, she could flame out in the European season, but come steamrolling in the summer, and she's an American princess storyline. That's, you know, her personality.
I don't know who Double Y is, but Double Y, we need to give you a timeout. Kenin doesn't look marketable to me. No lip, forgive me, Lord. She ain't forgiving you for that. She ain't forgiving you for that, man.
She's not marketable because her personality isn't quite there.
Yeah. Again, she's like Nole. She's like Nole. You don't give off that kind of energy.
They don't give off that air, but they're gonna try. And you know, if you win enough, you can force the public to take you seriously. They won't do it. They'll do it reluctantly, but they'll do it.
Yeah, I don't know. She's blah. She's not exciting.
I mean, lovely drama. Lovely drama girl, Angela Haynes. But the thing is, did Angela Haynes win something? This has helped her.
I'm going to tell you how Sofia Kenin is going to be a name to be reckoned with and get a following on tour. How? She's going to have to be a villain.
For whom? She needs a rival.
I don't know. I have no idea. But if she presents herself like a villain, then maybe she will get some people behind her. But I don't think anybody really cares about her.
Here's the thing, sweetie.
And she's abrasive. So
you know what has been the definitive thing for all those players? People keep forgetting this. These fathers. For all those players who you're rivaling and complaining about. I don't know why I try to beat up on a 15-year-old child anyway. Is they had a game. A big, massive game. And a game winning at losing in the middle of next week in Tulka, Bulka County, whatever the case may be. They keep winning. They don't just win one time. They keep winning. Because you know what? Madison Avenue or wherever you are trying to get these dollars, want to know that these people are holding up trophies all the time. Maria was winning slam every other year when she was on Meldonium. So that mainly interest was she was maintaining, she knew how to sort of like, did the drugs and how she kept it. I mean, she kept it cute 2004, 2006, 2008. Then she ramped up and waited a while, 2012. And then she did it again 2014. That's how she did it. She knew how to remain relevant. And she's all over the place. And listen to me. Remember that time Maria did a piece about her favorite things and they were all her sponsors? Like she enjoyed her favorite thing in the world is to get on her private jet, that rental jet and just have a way moment. You know what I mean?
She was so good at the marketing game.
Exactly. But you know what? The other thing is that I don't know how tall Kenin looks. She looks 5'2", but that might just be me. But I mean, like physical attributes sort of help. Well, I mean, these are not things I like to talk about, but it's the reality of the situation. This is how the market plays itself. It's the marketplace. It's not about equality.
I think to be fair, I think you're right. Like Lovely Drama Girl is saying, Lindsay Davenport never complained about being beta to Capriati's alpha. It's true. You don't. You just take the money.
Actually, she did. She
take the money and run.
They complained all the time about Venus and Serena. They did.
I like that.
They actually did. Capriati and Hingis
about each other.
In fact, they spoke about it openly in press conferences.
About the fact that they should be doing better. They should be getting
exactly. Because remember, Venus and Serena was on everything from chewing gum to everywhere you saw them, right? And they were really Kenin is 5'7", so that I guess that's tall-ish.
But listen, you know the tricky. Listen, we know the tricky things about marketing a women's tennis player. She's got to have all the things that make it compelling. She's got to have a sparkling personality. She's got to be blonde, especially in the American model. She's got to be blonde. She's got to have a sparkling personality.
It has to be real blonde, okay? CC Bellis, you can't fake that shit, girl.
She got to have some wit and some charm.
She doesn't have those things.
None of those things are there. However,
you have to have a respectable fashion sense. At least some people like.
Helpful as well. But you know what? My thing is like, listen. All you can do is go and get yourself a marketing guru, a marketing firm, and revisit your image. And you could try.
Get a better agent. That's it. It's just that.
Listen, I think that's what I'm saying, because I think the market is there for them. A Russian American holding up American tennis.
Sofia, girl, you gotta go to rallies. You gotta go to the rallies. That's it. That's what I'm telling you. I mean, it's that you're not gonna win certain kind of fans, but those kind of people don't care about these kind of fans. Okay, you gotta hate the snowflakes.
No, I mean, don't have to do any of that. She seems like
you gotta come on the code and say, "I love beer." You love champagne. I love champagne. You give him a glass. But Lovely Drama Girl, I mean, in the past, when Capriati was 14, before she was a criminal, it was, again, marketing was racist, right? Remember when Laurie McNeil, I think it was, Laurie McNeil showed up at Wimbledon without a sponsor. And she had beaten Steffi Graf in the first set. And I think Zena Garrison got to the finals. They didn't have a sponsor.
Yeah.
They didn't. And then Madison Avenue was shamed into giving them a sponsorship. And we all know that those contracts don't look the same. That the starting point for black athletes and athletes of color is at a lower threshold, right? So, I mean, and also, again, not all blondes are created equally.
No, they're not. And she's not the one that they're going to want. As we saw
not the one.
As we
look Kenin. Look at Wozniacki was cashing in and she didn't win a major until what, year before last? She was that kind of.
Yeah, because she's got that little Miss Sunshine personality. People actually like her. That's why.
Let me feel like Shangela.
People are not going to flock to her.
You are not that kind of girl. You're not that kind of girl.
But But listen, she doesn't.
But she will collect some checks.
No, she doesn't have to be, because you know what it is? What is amazing about this time period? And I think it's like Patrick is saying, Kenin has a certain intensity. And it's like, as I said the last time, I used rabid. And she she's a very, very she's not going to be your soft lily girl, right?
Mm-mm.
And girl is the right framing because she's very young. But what you have is like you have a competitive marketplace with a lot of young American women coming up in the game, and it's like a boy band. You just have to pick which one you want, right?
I want Coco.
I mean, hello, but listen, Coco's like the Justin Timberlake, the one in the center. But then there are always going to be these others on the side that you too can eke out your place. I think
Justin Timberlake is still.
Don't think that you have to have the whole pie, which I think is what the father is assuming, that he's getting a bigger piece of the pie.
No.
There's so many compelling young women. Because let me tell you something: if Amanda secures a Roland Garros title, Kenin who?
That's it, Luke.
That's it,
Luke. But you see, this is what I'm about to say. I think I just wanted to clarify something that I think Lovey Drabergo was getting to. You have to understand that these people, when they're complaining about the money, they're only complaining when it's black athletes.
Well, sure, yes. Because
let me tell you something. I didn't hear a word out of Lindsay when Sharapova was cashing in.
No,
because Venus got like $60 million from like Reebok, and she was the highest paid woman, and they lost their shit. I mean, they weren't even, remember, Twitter didn't exist back then. So if they were saying it and we were hearing it, they were saying it loudly, not even quietly. They were telling everyone. They went into the press conference and talked about it. They talked about how unfair it was. And again, it was another daddy who was leading the charge. Capriati's daddy was out there talking. But everyone, again, no one trusted Capriati because she won't steal their shit. But daddy ain't talking about that shit. But again, and this is Kenin's father, he had nothing to say about Amanda Silva. What's up? I can't pronounce her name.
Yeah. Amanda.
Mm-hmm. He had nothing to say about, and Amanda has a big deal. She has and she's from the Russian school too.
Oh, she can't do. Listen, you can't demand that Sofia take on a certain personality type that's not inherently hers. She's not going to be Megan Rapinoe. She's not going to have these opinions. I mean, first of all, do you know where, like come on now. Like, it has to come out of your natural, inclination. Like,
she wishes.
Sophia, girl, you want something problematic. So stay away from the mic. Bring your drink and just sip it. That's it. I mean,
like he says that she's got to do a braggadocious character. I mean, I don't think it's part of her.
But Megan isn't. But I don't think Rapinoe is braggadocious. I think she is standing in her craft. I am good at genuine. She's like, I'm good at what I do. That
comes out of a genuine Well, I do think what's interesting, though, I think the interesting narrative that emerged around Kenin was that she was an immigrant who understood and didn't take for granted America, which is a wonderful narrative, because everybody thinks that Black people are ungrateful. So I think this idea that I am a Russian immigrant who came to this country, and this country has done so much for me, and at the same time, I recognize that even though I worked really hard, that I didn't take it for granted because there were so many opportunities available to me here.
But of course, the anti-blackness slipped in there.
Exactly. Blackness, of course, you got to slip it in there because it's like,
Black people didn't deserve what they have.
Exactly.
They don't deserve it.
That's how it works.
But here's the thing, that I find really hilarious about the situation, is that it's one of those things where, for how long, if all things you mean, how long is Coco Kenin's gonna make less money? She has a lot of money somewhere, and I know they're collecting cash from places we don't see.
Well, probably think about it. She's
White House.
But she's 7 years older. She's 7 years older.
7 years older too.
Like, that's 7 years older. I mean, maybe also she's feeling the lack of time on her side because Coco has 7 years and she doesn't. I mean, who knows? But
well, there's already been some chatter how she's not gotten the help from the USTA because she wasn't supposed to be, the good one. So we're already starting to hear talk of that. So if her daddy runs his mouth, a significant amount, we'll probably get the full story here shortly.
But listen, though, but isn't it clever though? Because isn't he doing? I mean, listen,
right?
Isn't he doing what the Williams isn't he following the Williams model? The
Mm-mm.
outrageous dad making assumptions and making claims. I mean, even though you're insulting the group, you're still using the model that was offered to you.
Well, that's true. But I mean, like Williams, I mean, if you look at what Williams was saying, Williams wasn't saying anything crazy. What was crazy for people was the fact that it was coming from a black man saying this. They thought that in that space, he should have been humble. He should have accepted whatever grace that they were giving him. And he said, no, y'all have made these exceptions for these other people. I need that kind. He demanded equality. That was what it is. And he put his mouth where his money is, because everything that man has said, it's come to pass. And this was apparent from the jump. It wasn't that we need to wait.
I'm comparing them because that's a model. Like don't tell me these people aren't trying to use the Richard model. They all are. Some of them are just going to be
another one
at it.
You need two people. You need two. Williams came to the party with two. And you can't do it without the same thing, okay?
No, I mean Sophia's American age counterpart is not Coco. I mean, you mean Coco Vanderway? Maybe. No, how old is Cece? Cece Bella is like 20s, right?
Yeah, Cece Bella. It would be Cece. Cece is
Cece's her age group.
Cece's her age group, because I think 4 years ago Cece was like 15, and there was talk about whether she was turning pro. And again, Cece didn't handle that moment as I think Coco is handling this moment. Well, also Coco, knock on wood, has stayed healthy. Cece Bellis got injured.
And also, I mean, Madison Keys a little bit, although Madison Keys is like 2 years older, but like somewhat around the same range time as well, because there's 22, Madison's 24.
It's probably closer to the, and is older. She's
I mean, Melody. Melanie Udan is very old now. She's 28.
Oh,
wow! Okay. Remember when Melody Udan had her breakout?
Yeah, but she officially retired, right?
Wow, remember that year? That's so
when she had that sweet run at the US Open. It was fun.
It was just a tournament.
But it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Actually, you know who's her age group, which is hilarious because the perception isn't that. She and Osaka are exactly the same age.
Who's the same age?
Kenneth, Sofia,
and Osaka are the same age. No, we don't see that at all.
Isn't that funny? Like they're in the same age.
They don't behave the same. They've had a completely career trajectory. Everything's different.
And they're trying to use the same model. I'm just saying. Hey.
I mean,
you better get in where you fit in.
Well, I mean, it's interesting to think about them because, like, it's weird. Like Osaka and her are the same age. They were in juniors together. Osaka talked about how she was very dominant in juniors. That was her thing, is that she was always beating people in juniors. So something went awry in the sense that, like, but I mean, not really, right? Because Osaka just only made her breakthrough recently, so it's all on track in some ways.
Well, I just feel like we've been talking.
But also, and I think sometimes it's when I mean the skills are often there for the most part, and then when players line it all up, because when Osaka is in form, she's lining up everything, right?
Yep.
The serve, the forehand, the mind, everything, right? I think she just got completely.
Well, there's more. There's a piece that we're not talking about. When you have a player on the tour who a high-ranking WTA employee watches and talks about, they're going to get more attention, period. Nobody's talking about Kenin.
I mean, people did a little bit.
Courtney Newen has been talking, but Courtney Newen has been talking about Osaka publicly for a long time. And
I think that's the Asian connection, though, and I think
it is the Asian connection. But you have to realize who she is. And she
prime the pump. You're priming.
Yeah, for sure. So we've been hearing her name for a long time, well before her name meant anything to the average tennis watcher.
Can we ask about this though? Look at all the videos of Sofia with all of these WTA stars, and
they're ready. They're ready.
I know, and I saw Chrissy say how she had not been getting attention, but I was like, Chrissy, you are a broadcaster. You are on TV,
right?
Why aren't you telling us about her? Because to be honest, you know who Chrissy told us about. Chrissy told us about Keys. She told us, I mean, because she has an academy, right? So Chrissy has,
and she loved Sloan. She liked Sloan to a
she
certain
was talking
extent.
about Sloan. I mean, she talked about a lot of players. So if someone's not getting attention, it's partially you because you are on a broadcast.
Yeah, it has to be the people who have the voice to reach an audience.
And let me tell you something I've learned. And I think now that we're smart people and we live in a world of Twitter and we understand we're much smarter and savvier, we know that superstars are created, they're not born.
Yes.
They're created.
For sure.
That there's a marketing campaign there. It's all deliberate. It's deliberate who you get to hear, who you see.
Create you. And
so Kenin, it goes back.
I would never let you wear that fucking dress.
Oh my God!
Wait,
Can we talk about that, man?
Wait. You were talking over each other. Reels, finish your point, and then Janina, we can get on your dress. What were you saying, Reels?
No, I was just about to say that Kenin, again, it goes back to my original point. Get a better agent, okay, boo? That's it.
Okay. No, I mean, I think it's weird when what I think is so fascinating is that we've had this conversation about the state of American tennis for a really long time. And people are like, oh, what's going to happen? And we're like, oh, we were worried about the state of American tennis. And now we have all these sort of emerging women. But it's the same people who've been asked the question about the status of American tennis. It's been Chrissy Everett. We're not asking new people to talk. Lindsay Davenport, Courtney, I guess, and the WTA side, just from that professional standpoint. So the idea that maybe we don't know anything about Kenin, which is weird because now there are all these videos of people talking to her and having relationships with her. And so clearly she was on the radar. It reminds me of like when Milos broke out. People were like, oh, there's no one around. And then Milos had that breakout in Australia. And everybody's like, oh, he's always been there. I'm like, but then why didn't you say nothing? You know why? Because his personality was flat. And they didn't think that was going to do it for them. And I dare say they were making that same assessment about Kenin, which is like, oh, you know what? She's good. She's solid. But I don't know if she has that. I don't know if she has the it factor. But now that she's won, everyone's going to suddenly forget that they didn't think she had the it factor. And they're going to convince us. They're going to convince us that she'd been there all along.
No.
They'd always known it.
Well, y'all are fools if you listen to it because she ain't it. She doesn't have it. She doesn't have it. She doesn't have it. She's not, I mean, she can be trained. She can be trained to be media savvy, but she's not a natural. She's uncomfortable. She doesn't know what to say. She doesn't know how to say it. She's constantly looking for reassurance. That her acceptance speech was kind of hard to watch. Like, quit looking at your daddy.
Well, I mean, the dad is a huge factor there. Did you see? He was the star. He was the star.
I mean, she's like literally going, "Am I done, girl? Stop."
Well, young ladies and their daddies. What? Who is Richard Marks? Teenage smoking weed is nothing shocking, and sex with porn stars is not surprising. What is going on here? And what did I just go into?
He was talking about Capriati, but back then it was because
that was a big deal. I mean, Capriati.
It was a big deal because Capriati was acting like what they have always projected onto black girls.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Capriati was the wild one compared to who was.
Yeah.
Well, Pablo says I blame this on a lack of a formal education. We've heard that before, but however, sounds like Sofia Kenin actually didn't have a formal education. She's her father's telling people that she was homeschooled. So maybe there you go.
Listen, and that is
social interaction is important, people.
Well, listen, congratulations to her.
Same thing with Osaka, right?
Listen, we have to congratulate her because she came.
You could do that.
I'm going to congratulate her because you know what? Mugs are yours for the taking, and you let her take it. So congratulations to you, Sophia.
Be the bigger person, Andrew. Wonderful.
Listen. I'm about that gender thing. I gotta celebrate the young girls that come up and snatch when they should.
Winning. I'm totally fine with it. I mean, we've got a lot to think about.
The question we have to ask ourselves is: Will we know her come the next slam? Maybe not.
Listen, will we know her in 3 weeks?
listen. We got to do what we can. But can I tell you though? Let's talk about the dress. Let's talk about the dress.
Can we?
Oh, help her out, people.
You know what that looks like? You know, like when a little girl makes a dress for her doll baby?
Yeah, out of drapes.
Drapes, yes. That's what it is. It ain't cute, boo. And I defy anyone to tell me who allowed that shit to go on. Like, tell me who.
I mean, I don't think we can blame her. Someone did her hair, probably. Someone did her makeup, probably. Her makeup wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible. It could have been horrible. They did make her skin look good, which is important because she's got shit skin. her hair she looked old. They
made her look
aged her.
old.
They
Listen,
made her
you
look
had
very
young
old.
champs. Make her
Yes,
look
she's
young.
young. Let her be young and vibrant. She looked old, but that dress was awful. It was awful, awful, awful. She doesn't have the boobs to fill out the part that are meant to look at the boobs. I mean, if you're going to wear a dress that is cut around the breast and open in the middle, you got to have something to put in there. She's got nothing. They could have at least given her some padding. Shit, I don't know. And the whole style of it was just wrong. That was like a
heavy for
wannabe
outdoor
Oscar gown or something.
No, it was
That
a
was
lot
way too heavy.
Yeah,
You
it's a
take
lot for
photos
like,
outside. It was
outside.
just too much. It was so ugly.
You know what? A
And
cute
Papa said
pantsuit.
they added 10 years. I'm thinking more like 20.
Yeah, I think they did her a disservice by making her look so old because it makes it seem they really literally aged her 10 years. And I was like, she's a young girl. Let the hair be free. Give her an outfit that is like maybe cocktail tea length. And just have her be a little bit more they just dragged her down in that. And so I didn't understand why they made those choices because she's a young person. So it should be that way.
It was bad.
Yeah. I mean, and you know what? Listen, if it's true, somebody just emailed me. If it's true that, the USTA didn't support Kenin, who does the USTA support? Like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who they support.
I mean, yeah, was it an attempt to deliberately sexualize her? You know what? It would have been better if they'd made her just be youthful. I don't know why they aged her up like a grande dame. Like, it was weird.
It was weird.
It was
weird. It was inappropriate for the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, if she was on a red carpet, at the opera, maybe. I don't know.
No. That dress only supposed to be in the shop where you saw it. You try it on in the mirror and then be like, "Nope, this ain't it." Put it back.
Yeah, I mean, they just, they always do that. They always. I know they drew Donald.
They had a Grand Slam champion that looked good in the dress.
Or don't wear a dress. You know what would have been really cute? Like a onesie. Like a onesie for her would have been. She seems very sporty, so like a fun like onesie, which was a good color, so that when she sat on the grass, she could just sit there comfortably with her trophy instead of looking like she was sitting on a picnic table. I mean, it's a lot. Or a picnic.
She looked like she was trying to go for evening wear, but somehow his sun was still high noon.
I want to know who dressed her. I highly doubt that it was her.
Oh no!
So I want to know who the fuck is responsible for these people. And Pablo says that the USTA paid Sloan millions. Well, we see how well that's working out, don't we? She's working on her fucking soft porn career.
Leave Sloan alone.
I gotta wrap this shit up. I'm getting angry.
He's like, USTA lost all their money on Genie. I don't know.
Look, they tried to play Genie and Genie played them. Okay, they tried to come.
But in the end, who got played? Where's Genie now? Oh God!
Does Genie look like she was interested in tennis?
She got her a Twitter love affair.
Okay, I mean, it's just stop with the heavy makeup on these young women. It's not necessary. The heavy makeup, the heavy hair, just let it be. Let them be more natural a little bit.
Hire me.
And youthful. Let them be young lady. But anyway, are there any controversies? I know we had very strong opinions about Body bringing a baby into the press conference. And because of the baby, Kenin was just like, why don't I bring liquor into the workplace? Did anyone have anything to say about that?
I do not know.
Hey, who brought liquor in? Did she bring a glass of champagne?
Talking about?
You showed it.
Listen, good. I love it. Federer did that. No, listen. Okay, let me just say, I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion. We had a conversation offline about the whole baby in a presser thing. Listen, I don't know anything about this. Reels and I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right. Ashley Barty brought
being a mom.
Ashley Barty brought her niece into the press conference after her loss.
Whose baby?
Her niece.
Okay.
Her niece. So, the tennis podcast, that British one, they ran on a little bit of a rant about it because they thought that really she brought the baby in to avoid the tough questions because, hello, this is your home tournament. You lost a winnable match and you decided to bring a baby in here, which made it seem like I couldn't ask you difficult questions because who wants to ask you very difficult question while you're cooing at a baby?
Why did they think the baby could speak and was going to say, don't ask her that? I mean, it's a baby.
I think Yes, I think it's for them. It was, first of all, it's their own perception. They could have still asked the tough questions because guess what? You could still do it. But I think it would have been weird if the baby started swirling and then because Ashley, they assume that if they ask her a difficult question, maybe she'd tense up and the baby'd start crying. I don't know. They're making assumptions about it.
God. Okay, go on. This is funny.
Nonetheless, my thing about it is I agree that the baby was a shield, but and that she probably wanted to bring a baby there. But guess what? We don't bring babies into the workplace, and it is her workplace. And I saw other footage of babies. I know I saw other footage of like other players bringing their babies in. And you know what? Some babies are cute and other babies are not cute.
Oh shit, it wasn't even a cute baby?
No, it was a cute baby. That's not what I mean. What I mean is, like, it's like, I have to say that that's really just something that a white tennis player could get away with doing. Like, if Serena had a humiliating loss and she rolled up in there with her baby, I know people would have been like, why she brought her baby out there? Because even when Serena,
they would have ignored the baby and asked the questions anyway.
Did anyone say, why did you bring a baby?
Well, nobody asked it because I think
right.
There's a baby.
She doesn't have a child and you show up with a baby. Nobody even said, where'd you get that baby?
Where did it come from? Why did and everybody was listening.
When you say baby, how was this
it was a baby.
It was a baby. It's a cuckoo baby. Cooing baby.
Yeah.
And you know what?
It say, why do you have a baby?
Listen, because you know what? She wanted to bring it in. Listen, I don't care. Listen, she could do what she wants.
If I would have been in that room, I would have said, where'd you get that baby?
Well, she would have been like, it's my niece.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they knew who the baby was.
The baby is there.
David lost point. And David, let me just be clear because I know you're listening. I didn't listen to your podcast. I listened to a clip someone had somewhere on YouTube. I ain't got that kind of time and energy. Y'all are a mess. And plus, Janina's good Judy, Catherine Whitaker. Yeah, I can't stand that woman. But anyway, but I would say that, like to a certain extent, I think you're absolutely right. But I think his point was that I thought was really crazy. He wanted the police to step in. Why didn't someone take away the baby from her?
He's not going to police, but it's like, listen, we don't bring babies to work. I wish we could. They don't let you do it.
Listen to me. He got so indignant like a Becky. I need to speak to a manager. That was a hilarious happening.
But you know what? Let me be the person to be like, listen, why do you have a baby in your arm? Is this an appropriate environment? Why don't you put the baby down so we can talk to you?
I don't know.
In our conversation, I said to Andreen initially,
I don't understand why people feel like they can't speak if there's a baby there. This is weirder to me than the fact that there was a baby there.
Here's the thing.
They can't say anything
because
there's a baby there. That's the weird.
That's Reels' point. That was
my point to Andreen. Because here's the thing. What they felt was that, to me, I think what David Law took umbrage to was that Andreen put it as privilege, right? That Ash was flexing her privilege, and David Law knew it, and he couldn't do anything about it.
Exactly,
because
he couldn't roll up in there.
Not only that, Ash was showing them that she didn't respect them, and then a shit they could do about it.
What did I tell you about Ashley Barty last week?
Because the thing about it is just that room is not a professional room, right? These people don't act like professional journalists. Because here's the thing, if that happened in basketball, even though there's a team dynamic, let's say Kobe brought in his child,
careful there.
Well, let Kobe, he's dead, but Steph brings his child.
Steph brings his child into the press all the time.
Except why Steph's child is perceived as cute.
Right. But we're not talking about the cute factor with the child. The journalists still do their job.
Listen, the cute factor is a big part of
that becomes a separate story for Twitter to run the roll, but the journalists do their job nonetheless.
Yep.
They still continue asking the question.
They do.
But we know that room is in there trying to remain friends with Ash Barty, because here's the thing.
Yeah.
At the very least, you see, this is why I am not in that room. Because when I get to the part like, girl, how you let Kenin roll you up in straight sets in your home slam? Okay,
ask the question.
I would have been like, if there's a problem, I said I could wait while you go hand the baby off to your sister. I would have been that guy. But you see, David Law, they wouldn't do that because they recognize that that's what she did is something that they would have done too.
Yeah.
Game recognized game.
I just get it.
And the thing about it, because they're not professional, and I
what
said
do
this.
you not get about that? Do you know what it is? People don't. I completely understand it because they don't understand. They didn't understand what reaction they were going to get from her. So it's
she
like
would have accepted. She would have come into
she would have
New York without the
answered
baby.
question. I think she would have answered the question, but their perception.
I think she would have answered any question that was
they wanted
after her.
But they were gonna go a different direction.
They were gonna go hard. They were gonna go like they did to Kanta. Remember when Kanta choked at Wimbledon and they went hard on her in the presser, asking all questions?
Because you have to understand, again, goes back to a point where we said all blondes are not created equal, not all white women. And though Ash is Aborigine, she is perceived as being white. She recognizes her Aboriginal heritage, and that's no, I'm not disputing any of that. But in certain spaces, she's perceived as being white, and it's not the same. They don't go hard at Maria. Whoever sits in a press conference and say, Maria, girl, this is loss number 10. Why are we doing about Serena? They don't go hard on Maria.
I just don't understand how the baby. Listen, I get that this was a distraction. I get that. What I don't understand is how you have a room full of adults, some of which I am sure our parents would fucking buy it, that you can't ask the question that you want to ask because someone's holding a baby. The baby doesn't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah, but they knew how that was gonna play, right? Because the first thing Ash was gonna do the Alice tears. Ash was gonna put some tears in her eyes.
I don't know. Ashley Barty is very careful with the media in what she says. So if she did that to avoid questions, you know what? Hey, she was smarter than you because y'all are stupid if you didn't ask the question.
I hear all of that, and that is a fair, and I agree with that 100% because I would have gone anyway. But they knew how that was going to play out. They came in there because you know what? Because she doesn't go straight to the press room, right?
And they caved. They allowed themselves to get played.
Because David Lost said that thing in the press because he went on his podcast and did exactly what she knew he was going to do. He got really mad at the baby was present. He didn't even overlook the fact that the baby was there. Exactly. He was like, who shows up to work with a baby? In fact, people do bring their baby to work certain times, but it wasn't her baby.
It actually happens more than we realize. However, I just told you guys last week, media, she doesn't play into that whole we're friends. She doesn't. And she says it. She's like, you are the media. You will twist my words, and I'm not going there with you.
I think that's exactly right, lovely drama girl. I think what they wanted to do was they wanted to pin her down. They wanted to do what they usually do to Stoser, which is why can't you perform in your own country?
Yep.
But then she showed up in there with a baby
and drag contact Wimbledon. Woo!
I'm gonna be the villain if I ask her some nasty ass question. So now I can't because she's got this cute little niece up in there. Listen, and you know what? A lot of people, nobody's a friend. Nobody loves the journalists. I get that. It's a popular thing to hate journalists.
Some of them do. I really think some of them do. Fucking fools, but they do.
Well, listen, some people don't. You know, whatever. It's a good thing to say you hate journalists now. It's fine. But I'm just saying, I don't understand the idea of bringing a child in that space. I don't really get it. I mean, I work in a space where that doesn't happen. I'd be giving you the side eye if you did. Your kids might have babysitting issues, sure. But you know what? All I'm saying is that I've been in spaces where people bring in children and white babies are like, oh, so cute. Black babies, why you ain't got no problem? Why you have problems taking care of your kid? Why is your kid here? Like, so it's like the idea that she rolled up in there with her baby and
actually they're gonna say nice and then they're gonna talk to a manager afterwards.
Exactly. They'll be like, this person has problems because she can't secure a babysitter, and it's just like, so for me, I just have a whole problem with it because I think about it as work, and I know that not everybody
when she was supposed to perform, when she was supposed to be doing her work thing, but they were gonna go hard, and I like everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were just upset. They were frustrated that they didn't go hard on her and get a couple tears because she should cry because she didn't do something at her home slam.
Janina, you would be interested to know that Catherine, your girl Katie, she had sympathy for Body. She says,
that woman
I think she may have done it, but I don't know if it was that devious that she really thought about it. And I was like, the one time when it's an obvious play, girl, you missing that?
Katie can go suck a dick, okay?
Oh my God, leave Katie alone. But I mean,
I don't know if Katie's into that kind of thing, though.
Honestly, she can really do it.
It's not my business. I don't, listen,
But I think y'all are silly
I'm one of
journalists.
those people that don't like it when people bring their pets in the work. So
Oh God, I hate those people more than the baby.
But
Actually,
I
like
mean,
the
I
baby
get it.
people. The pet people, I was like, go fuck yourself. Get this shit
I
out
don't
of
think
here.
it was just male journalists complaining. I think there was some, well, actually most of the writings I've seen were from male journalists. I don't know what women said, but I don't know
if they're smart, they say nothing.
I don't trust
Exactly.
the 53%. So
Because
I'm not gonna take it.
Because that's the thing. Because that's what Body played into, right? Body knew two things was gonna happen.
Yep.
One, the women weren't gonna say anything because they had already been cuckooing over the baby, and the men knew that they were going to be the only voices heard on the tape. And guess what, David Law? We were gonna recognize your voice right off the bat.
I want transcripts from the presser from every word
which was even crazier. You know what I was surprised at? Ubi displayed restraint. Obi didn't say anything.
But not one single person said, "Where'd you get the kid?"
They knew who it was. I think it probably was I think she mentioned it was her niece. So I don't think they needed to say
because this is David Law's issue was that it's not that they couldn't take the baby away while the baby was in there. He was the baby, should have never come into the room at all.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But listen. I mean, you know what? The tricky thing is it doesn't seem to interrupt other press conferences when other people bring in their children. They still ask you, why'd you dribble the ball this
As
way?
it should be.
Exactly.
It should be. Fucking dumbasses, man.
To me, I wouldn't have, if I were there, I wouldn't have perceived the baby as being this thing that I couldn't ask questions. I would have perceived the baby as being she's gonna be able to hold her emotions in check, right?
Yeah.
That she wasn't gonna break down right now.
I mean, I probably would have been like, "Why did you bring a baby in here?" But anyways, what happened today? And I probably would have said it exactly like that.
Crazy me. You know what? I actually thought the baby was hers. I thought that was her baby, but I was gonna mix up with the last one.
It's a niece. No,
I thought I was gonna mix up with the last
women, babies, whatever. Maybe she was showing you can bring your child to work day.
That's wild. All right, let's wrap it up. It's Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh God, we still do Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Colin Kaepernick told us not to. I'm
girl, listen to me. That's, I can't even. That's a whole other show we need to discuss. But you see what? Let me tell you something. Cancel culture ain't real.
I feel really good that
bullshit.
In California.
Whenever you see those pieces about cancel culture, you should immediately cancel those writers. Anyone who says cancel culture is a thing, you should cancel those people. Just be like, don't listen to anything. It's not a thing.
What are you talking about? Cancel culture?
It's not a thing because you see, we are back in the slipstream. Super Bowl is back being a thing. Everyone's going on about Shakira and J-Lo.
And do you see how they slipped in the Latinx just to get everybody all distracted?
Oh, I know, right?
They know we can't get together. They'll be like, these Black and Latinos, they don't get together, so let's order some Latino performers. And
oh my God,
it's a trick. But listen, as long as y'all eat food, I mean, I think that's
really what it's all about.
That's really what the football game is about, right? Food and commercials.
Girl, they're selling a beef patty, Jamaican beef patty for $20. That's some crazy shit like that.
At the game? And you know it's not even a real Jamaican patty.
Like $5.
I know, right? Listen to me. I just hope the company's making some of that profit, because if y'all are buying out of the same market price, manufacturer price, and selling it for $20, someone needs to go to jail.
You all are best. Now I'm seeing people who are bringing you different pets. Listen, on another separate episode, we'll talk about people who need to bring their support animals. Listen, that gets explored.
Oh my
Listen,
God.
I work in the doctor's office. We can do a whole episode on that. And I'll give you a sneak.
I don't want to give too much secret away.
I'll give you something.
Don't date men with support animals. Just don't.
We had a request for a support animal. The animal was a gecko.
Listen, I'm also just
Yes, Patrick, Jay-Z all the way to the bank. Every part of him.
To the Caribbean in me, which is that pets belong outside. I just don't do that whole.
Let me tell you something, and it's probably problematic of me, and I guess I should put it out into the universe. So if I'm any of those dating apps and I see someone with a dog, there's a ding against you. I swipe left. I don't care how cute you are.
Stories about animals.
No matter how cute you are, I just like, and I swear to God, and I mean, y'all might say I'm being crazy, but I literally had look. You know what? this ain't that kind of show. It's somebody's Sabbath, and I'm about to make it unsanctified and unholy. But you know what? If y'all catch me somewhere with a drink, I'm telling you. Anywho, so the Australian Open is finally over. Y'all can erase from your DVR. This won't be any classic like 2017.
No.
So
delete.
Oh, you didn't even
forgotten.
Did we talk about? Okay, so how are people feeling? We should end the show. How are people feeling about Serena's performance?
I mean, I'm fine.
You
know what?
I literally prefer to have a child, a baby, than have a pet. And I'm being 100 on this.
Oh wow, that's harsh. I think that Patrick said she was mad. I like Mad Serena. Mad Serena comes back with a vengeance. I'm here for it. And you know what? She's fucking old, people. But I still think she's the best player out there when she's on. Nobody touches her. I do.
What do you? I mean, I guess we'll have to. You know what? We have to have like a segment called the Olympics Watch. Dima, we may have to include you in that because Dima always seems to track all the details. We got to figure out who's going to land in the Olympics, and I feel like that's why Venus is hanging around, is to try to get to the Olympics. So
yeah, I don't think
Venus, keep your old ass home, girl. I love you, boo.
No, she should play. She should play.
She could probably
doubles Venus, but don't you dare try to get a single spot.
I don't think she's in. I don't even think it's a mathematical possibility for Venus to get a double spot right now. There's too many higher ranked American women who are in front of her.
Do you know what you guys didn't even realize? You know, Kenin is the number one American player.
Yeah, right now.
This is it,
girl.
Number one.
Serena ain't going to do a single thing, and she's going to be back again by March. So I ain't worried.
She's the number one American.
I ain't worried. Listen to me.
Like, oh
Listen
my God,
to me.
that's true.
Let me tell you something.
Yep.
People could say whatever they want to say about Serena, but let me tell you something. She always got time for these girls. No matter how irrelevant and bad, Serena just shows up. I make all these ladies look like swag. I mean, I know she having the fire sale in the finals.
Somebody said in the comment section.
No, I mean, I'm not worried about Serena's legacy about winning a title or anything like that. But I'm just simply saying when Serena shows up and shows out, she does. She makes everyone pales in comparison to her.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the doubles. I'm going to track that a little bit about doubles ranking because somebody said that they'd be open to asking Andy Murray to be doubles partner, and I was like, well, Andy won't have a rank, but I think it'll be okay, right? So yeah, I don't think you need rankings for
Venus.
doubles.
You have what 4 medals, 5? Girl, let it go.
The Olympics is a big deal for a lot.
I get it. Let it go, but you know what? Other people need an Olympic moment too.
No, they don't. Get all the Olympic moments you want, girl.
Let us not be out here breaking and bending rules. How about we break and bend rules? If you're going to do that, let's just pop Venus into a finals where Serena is across the net and Venus will get one lap of a fire sale.
Stop it. Like, I mean, we'll see. To be honest, I was a little bit surprised. I woke up and saw that she had lost. But we'll see. We'll see how the year turns out. We'll see if they even have the Olympics. I know they were trying to stop rumors about the Olympics going down, but you never know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Nola and Federer are both, yes, yet to win gold in singles. We know. That's the next big thing. So next thing is Fed Cup, I believe. Real?
Yes. I just had my calendar here. Where did I put my calendar? Yes. It is Fed Cup tomorrow and Cordoba, ATP Pune, and ATP Montpellier, the French national championships. And that's a good tournament where all the French boys are there. They're always cute. They're always fun and having a good time. And you're sure that at some point a French person is going to win. So that is a good week of tennis. I'm telling you, if you're in Montpellier, take your money there. You're going to have a good time.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get
And as always, the WTA ain't got shit to say about Wuhan. And there's going to be a tournament happening there in several months. I mean, not anytime soon, but a major tournament.
Well, it's probably
a lot of money.
It's probably best.
And a lot of money is tied up in China.
It's probably best to wait and see. I mean, you know what I mean? So
Okay. And people, let me just say, people out here, not to our
Yeah,
fans and those who are listening.
they did cancel something in China. They had put and they, you know what? Could somebody? I need to do a little bit. What happened to that tournament that was canceled? The WTA tournament that was canceled because the arena was being used for something else. And so what they've done is expanded the number of players that can compete in Dubai on the women's side.
Stop it right now.
Yes. I think it was like a concert that was happening.
Wow. Wow.
So it's a lot.
Who the artist was for sure.
Yeah, there was a double booking. Yes, we saw that on. There was a
Where
double
did this happen at?
What it's in Europe. Let me see. It wasn't on the calendar. I'm looking for it on our
Hungry,
on Tony's helpful calendar. But it's
oh my god.
Yeah, there was a WTA event that was supposed to happen and now it can't happen. Yeah, I'll have to look it up because it's not on our camp. I think yeah, damn, the WTA gets no respect. I don't know what happened, girl, but they had to cancel the whole thing.
Pablo, what do you think it's in Hungary?
It was Hungary?
And it's somewhere in Hungary. Yvette, you can listen to the playback, Yvette, because we missed you. But I'm sure you're getting ready for Super Bowl in Miami. Hope you're not. And we still thinking about Kaepernick. Okay.
Oh yes, it was a WTA. The WTA tournament was Debrecen, Hungary. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. It had to be canceled. It was not. I was like, what?
Oh my god! Formerly known as Budapest is officially dead. The players were advised individually and via their players-only website on Friday that the Hungarians' Ladies Open will not be held in 2020.
Weird as heck. I mean, I don't know who
which was going to be the week of the 17th.
February 17th. So now they're gonna. The solution is that they're gonna make some adjustment
to Dubai.
The Dubai tournament draw was going to be 32, so now it's going to be 48, and there will now be like qualifiers. There'll be still 3 rounds, but there'll also be 6 qualifiers instead of 4.
That's some bullshit. Why not have like 7 rounds and get the ladies up in their little main?
Okay, the WTA official statement: the WTA tournament to take place in wherever Hungary, the week of February 17th, will not be held due to unanticipated complications in securing the venue.
Who did that research? Sorry, we have a concert.
We initially understood the facility to be available for a WTA event, but learned last week that another event was booked for the same week, causing a scheduling conflict. Hungary.
Yeah, I had no muscle to flex. I mean, like, fuck that concert. Let him go.
Diligently working to find a solution that the tournament could continue. Unfortunately, that was not possible. So clearly, they have one arena, and tennis doesn't get the. Tennis got ousted. That's really fucked up.
Well, you know what, WTA, I ain't trying to be disrespectful to y'all, but I'm just simply saying that, nobody would have seen y'all on TV anyway. So.
I mean, we'll see.
Anyway,
I think it changes things for some players who were going to be in the main draw and now have to work to qualify in Dubai.
Yeah, and it's easier for them to get to Budapest than opposed to get to Dubai. And all that mess. But anyway, folks, thank you for joining us. We are glad you're here, and happy Black History Month. Let's hope it's as not messy as it was last year.
It's a good start, I think.
Yeah.
That's only 2 days in. Only 2 days in. I think it was only 2 days in, and
look, January has been a shit show anyway. So it's like
it was a long month. We can only hope for better things.
No, that was not a gentleman in my background. Janina is married to a man. Okay, she's the only one who is covering hair. Okay, don't be playing me, Pablo. I'm trying to put my business out there.
She's the only one getting laid regularly, as they say.
Oh my God, goodbye.
Exactly.
I'm always standing up for my honor. This must be a crazy Sunday. Anyway, folks, thank you for joining us. We will be back on the air in like 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. And you might get a surprise from us, or you might not. But we're always great. We're the Federer of Tennis podcast, as
Which
you know.
Means our bodies break down midway through.
But we fight through.
Right.
Let me just say, Federer, how about next year we just play a warm-up tournament or something? Okay, we can't be playing 2 tournaments in one.
Federer is like, fuck you and your warm-up tournament. I didn't play a warm-up tournament. I got to the semifinals.
Yeah, but by playing 2 tournaments in one, he had a 5-set match every day.
Yeah, he should be warmed up.
And
All
plus
right.
the emotional baggage of coming from behind, behind.
We'll catch y'all next Friday when I'll watch the match for Africa. Not really. I mean, I don't really watch these things, but we'll see.
You will.
It's for free. I mean, I'll see what footage they have from South Africa. Who else they bring up in there? They'll have some like South African juniors or something like that.
Yes. Timothy said I didn't see up for any of the fuckery. Let me see what else he said. Timothy. One robot who takes medical time out when shit hits the fan for him is in the final Novak, and that basher who self-destroyed in Margarita. Okay, so we understand that TMV had a forgettable finals like we did too. We will be putting in a request for 2021 to be way better. Happy Groundhog Day, Richard Marks.
Pablo, I expect you to help us track what they do with that $6 million.
Next podcast will be tennis pets. Anyway, folks, thank you for joining us. Janina, do you have a song for us to go with?
Oh no, I don't. I'm sorry. Why you put me on the spot like that? I do not.
Let's forget about it. It's
okay.
Okay, great.
It's the theme for the day is 8 is enough. 8 is enough.
Okay.
8 is enough apparently for everyone but Rafa at Roland Garros. So we'll see how we do.
Yeah. All right.
Good night, all. Good day. Good day.
Bye.
Congratulations to the new American #1. Oh my gosh.